Aquarius, this is wishkotheferret. Thanks for hopping into the ferret den where we're keeping things warm and we're keeping things cozy. Today we have a reading for you for April 17th to the 23rd. The only thing to keep in mind for this cycle is that there is a new moon in Aries coming up on the 20th, so midway through the week, and there's also a hybrid solar eclipse. So big energy, and it's the second new moon in Aries of the year. So if you want to figure out how those energies mesh with yours and impact your sign and how you can capitalize on those energies, definitely check out your favorite astrologer so that you can tune in and, you know, do all of your moon things. So I know I will be doing that. So as always, Aquarius, drop into your heart space. Let the dust spiritually, physically, and emotionally settle around and within you so that you can determine which messages are for you, which messages are for others. And as you settle into your heart space, cool yourself down and take a breather, I will also do the same and say my prayer and get anchored in my body. So thank you, Archangel Michael, for surrounding me with a light of protection of white and gold. Thank you, angel team and spirit guides, for helping ground me into the earth and then send a light straight up to heaven, to the highest source and the highest truth for our Aquarius collective sun, moon, rising, or whoever happens to be feeling called to Aquarius energies at this time and feeling called to listen to this message. Thank you for helping me to uplift and empower the collective. And thank you for helping me deliver it in such a way that our Aquarius collective will understand. And thank you for helping this message reach those who need this message the most right now. Okay, Aquarius, I feel like you didn't get what you wanted. You have the Five of Cups here, which is some type of disappointment. I feel like you were expecting something, and you're expecting something great, but it kind of fell through, and now you have to reassess, because you have the Seven of Pentacles here. Something fell through, and you have to reassess now. You know, I feel like for some of you, this is in relation to love. It could be in some other thing in your life. Either way, whatever the situation applies to, it is a game changer. This feels like the type of energy where it changes your direction just a little bit. You have the Two of Cups here, which is why I think it's in relation to some form of love, but there's something you have to know. If you're looking for love right now, your soul commands you to go in a certain direction. I hate to say it like that, because we all have free will, but it's like our intuition will always lead us eventually to our person. And that's not always the case for some people. Like, you really need to allow yourself the freedom to follow your heart. And you need to trust and work on your manifestation. You have to put yourself out there. I mean, there is a lot of work involved, but it feels like your soul is almost calling you to go in certain directions. And you kind of need to trust the path, especially when it comes to your love life. And you just kind of have to follow your own happiness and see where it leads you. You shouldn't really be searching to complete yourself. You should be searching to fill yourself up. And it might not be a relationship that fills you up all the way. You need to learn that about yourself first. But there's something here about some type of disappointment. And what he's not noticing are the Two Cups behind him and the Five of Cups. So, I mean, I don't know. That's what I always say, is that, like, even though a lot of the cups spilt and it's stuff that we could have enjoyed, yeah, we don't have a feast anymore, but we still have two sources of goodness that we could focus on. And it's going to happen. If those things freshly spilled, of course, live in that disappointment, feel it out. Really, like, you know, I want to validate your feelings here and be like, you know, because I mean, we all have moments of disappointment. And if we completely brushed off all of that negativity, it would never be resolved, and it would just sit there unprocessed in our bodies. And that would be awful. So definitely make sure you're working through that, but that's going to be worked through like, you're going to use this reassessing energy with the Seven of Pentacles to sort of help you work through that disappointment. The Two of Cups, if you're not really looking for love and the love part does not apply to you at all, this is like a situation with the self as well. So this is, it's kind of similar with the Lovers. The Lovers deals a lot with the subconscious, but the Two of Cups here feels like it specifically deals with you and your higher self and your connection to your higher self and your inner being. It's kind of like the being that you have in the world and then the being you have up in the clouds, or the being that you have, not really up in the clouds. All of these higher vibrations are just around us living in this world at this time. They're not like up there, they're down here, they're just on a different frequency. They are on a higher frequency, but they're not physically higher. Does that make sense? Because it's not like a physical thing. It's like an energetic thing. But anywho, that being said, it feels like you're strengthening your connection to your higher self right now, and you're determining your path. The Two of Wands is actually trying to get clear on where it is you want to go. And again, I feel like that reassessing energy is going to pull into helping you determine where or how you steer your life and kind of what you want to plan for it. Because the Two of Wands is very much a planning card. You didn't really put in too much of the work yet. You're kind of in the dreaming phase, and you're kind of looking at your journey, and you're mapping out where you want to go. So this could be at any point. This doesn't have to be at the very start of your journey, you know, or you could, like I mean, for some of you could very well be doing something like switching careers, or finding a new love interest, or starting a new venture, because the Two of Wands is at the beginning of the wand suit, so that is kind of the start of things, but it doesn't necessarily have to be the start. This could be a period or a moment of self-reflection in the middle of your journey where you have to stop, reassess, and sort of shift things in order to plan for the next step. Okay? And you're going to be relying on your intuition a lot with the High Priestess here. Your intuition is actually pretty strong this week. When the High Priestess comes up, I know that your intuition is showing you the way. For me, my intuition is strongest when this card pops up for me. So she has I just heard for whatever reason that she has a good directory. I'm not really sure what that means, but I think Spirit means with that is that you have a lot of resources. When you have a strong directory, or when you have a big directory, you have a lot of resources, you have a lot of people you can call. This for you might not be in the form of people, but you have a lot of resources to work with, and it's almost like you have enough experience in life to understand and determine where it is that you need to go next. You can not only use your intuition, but you can use your intelligence in junction with that and push forward, and almost like I just heard, meet your goals. So it's almost like you have a goal that you want to work with. It's just a matter of strategically planning how to get there for some of you. I rolled the Astro dice for you. You have Pluto, Aquarius, and the ninth house. So for Pluto, it's almost like you are quite literally rebirthing the self, because Aquarius is your sign. So this is like Aquarius, like you're very good at least, the Aquarius energy is very good at connecting with their authentic selves and their authentic voice, expressing their truth to others. So there's like a rebirth or a transformation here when it comes to expressing your true thoughts. And this is in relation to the ninth house, which could be many things from travel to philosophy to higher learning. I do feel like this is kind of more of a philosopher energy, and they're very nomadic. You know, like I said, they travel a lot. So this doesn't have to be your person, or this doesn't have to be something that you do. But to me, this is just something that could impact your travel or just your overall learning in general. The kind of information we take in, our views on life, how we see life, it's almost like those types of things are being restructured. And if you are somebody who has always hidden the way that you viewed the world, or you weren't 100% honest with people around you in relation to your views on life, or how you managed the world, or how you navigated the landscape even, is coming through. You're almost being more expressive with those at this time, and it's very freeing for you, or it feels very freeing. It can be a little scary, but when you are open and honest with how you navigate the world, I find that, like, I swear to you, like, when I'm honest about my feelings, because I usually am not 100%, like, I mean, I'm honest, but when I'm going through a hard time, I don't let other people know. And it's mostly because I'm too busy in the thick of it. I'm in the trenches dealing with it. So, you know, I find that when I'm open and honest and I seek support, my channels become so much more open, and I get way more information because the heart chakra is more open. When you're doing a heart-led practice like mine, we're always operating from the heart, no matter where we go or what we do. And I think our work becomes more powerful, regardless of what work you do. Our work becomes more powerful when our heart chakra is centered and open. And we can be open by expressing our authentic truth and seeking support when we need it. So that's something to keep in mind as well. And I'm pulling from the Shaman's Dream Oracle, and I'm going to pull from the book on this one. Ooh! Okay, so you had a lot of cards popping out at first, and I was like, I'm not going to take them because that was like 3 at once. And I'm going to be reading passages from this, so it's going to be long. But you have the authentic, many masks, the authentic self. Maybe it was you that got this last week too. I don't know. One of the signs got this card last week as well, or maybe earlier. But we're just talking about authenticity and expressing your voice, so we'll read. Many masks. The authentic self, energizing internal allies, a conscious shift. We live in a world where everyone we see wears a mask. We wear these masks to cover up and protect who we really are. We learn to do so because we've been conditioned to try to appear a certain way to fit into society. Masks allow us to belong, so we remain within the confines of what is expected. Masks are not inherently bad. Rather, they provide context and structure for our personalities and soul's expression. Some of us might believe that a particular mask, fixed and hardened onto us, is our permanent face. We forget that we are living beings with a multitude of faces, enabling us to experience a fuller, more vibrant world. Your authentic essence doesn't want to be constrained by others' expectations anymore. Now is the time to strip away the mask you've accepted and discover who you really are. A new self is emerging, and your perception changes as you adopt new ways of being. Right now, it's really important to allow yourself to experiment, to experience the world and all its myriad potentials and possibilities. Try on different masks and let yourself be fluid and curious. How will you know what you love and what you resonate with if you don't take off the mask you've always worn and test drive some new ones? Your authentic essence will never change. It will only express itself differently through those optional selves. Through trial and error, you discover more and more about who you want to become. What would it feel like to explore this side of you? Anything is possible if you're willing to open up to your potential. You truly can move beyond the barriers that society has set. Use your imagination and step into the magic. So I'm going to let that be a message in itself. I'm going to let that stand alone because I feel like that was so clear and so beautifully written. I couldn't have said it better myself. So we'll pull from the Angels and Ancestors deck by Kyle Gray. And we'll see what else we have for our Aquarius collective. Great teacher. Learn from spiritual experiences. Guys, this 9th house that is on your Astro Dice is also like a spiritual religious house as well. So it doesn't have to be religion, but you could be learning more spiritual lessons right now. And it's interesting that it's being reflected in this card, the Great Teacher. So I literally just said this is a card for this is the energy of learning, philosophy, your views on life. And there's something about learning from your spiritual experiences, but also sharing them as you are the teacher. So this is sharing your wisdom, sharing your knowledge with others, the things that you've learned, and then promoting peace through that. For whatever reason, the white dove on this card is calling me, and the white dove is a symbol of peace. And it feels like you are spreading that peace, or you are learning how, it's almost like I just heard you are learning how it affects you. You are learning how this peace can affect you, and then you're wanting to share that peace and that light and positivity with others. It doesn't necessarily, I don't really get like a positive vibe because it feels like your truth may have some weight to it, or it feels like there's something like, I don't know, for some of you, this could be like it doesn't have to carry all positivity. It could have been something you learned from a life of negativity. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something that has to be like, oh my gosh, the world is like rainbows and butterflies, because we all know that's not true. But interestingly enough, I say that, and I like to pull, we have the beauty card. I'll look at that in a little bit, but I always like to pull, assign a deck to the new moon or the full moon. So around midweek is when this message would apply. This is the Secret Garden deck, the Secret Garden Oracle by Jessica Leigh, L-E. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but I pull from this deck so that we can kind of get like a midway point, or like a what's the general vibe for the new moon or the full moon that we're coming into at this time. So for April 20th or around that time, beauty. Dare to be tender and strongly vulnerable. I just said the world wasn't filled with butterflies and flowers and all this other stuff. And interestingly enough, you got the beauty card, and those things are typically regarded as beautiful. So beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So I feel like in this being tender and strongly vulnerable, you are bringing forth powerful lessons that can be shared. You are recognizing the beauty in things that aren't normally seen as beautiful. And I just got the chills when I said that, so it's gotta mean something. I feel like you have something very important and distinct to share. Perhaps you've really had to fight against some type of societal norm that things had to be a certain way, and you had to learn the hard way that that's just not the truth for you, and that's the truth that you want to share. Share that truth, because there are other people who feel the same way, that are afraid to live in their truth fully because they haven't found somebody else who feels that way yet or views that way yet. And some people don't have that, they can't really seem to call on that power yet, but you can help them seize that power within themselves by being a guiding light for them. And it's all interconnected. It's all interconnected. I can't help but feel like I have to like reiterate this. This isn't like a leader and a follower dynamic. This is not. Because I think we were all put in this earth to help each other. There are some aspects, if you want to use those strict definitions for like teaching spiritual lessons, we are constantly learning from one another, and there are some things, for example, that I can't bring to light or that I can't really recognize because I haven't seen other people do it yet, and I might be too worried about coming forward with it or acknowledging it fully. It's harder for me to embrace this truth. But the moment somebody else in the world says, that's okay, that brings a lot of healing to me, because I notice that I'm not alone. And that's just all what we are. Like, I could be strong and guide others in some other respects, but there can also be some parts of me that, there will always be shadow parts of ourselves that we need to fully integrate into our whole selves. And we are whole regardless of whether we take these shadows into ourselves or not, or like whether we embrace our shadows or not. But it feels, it's just sitting here recognizing the beauty and understanding that everybody has beauty to contribute. This is your beauty. Allow yourself to shine with it. Okay? And last but not least, Aquarius, I'm going to roll the angel dice for you. 350. We're pulling from Angel Numbers by Kyle Gray. And this will be the last thing I share with you before we send you on your way. Your guides are aligning your life with the power and light of abundance. One more time. Your guides are aligning your life with the power and light of abundance. So I'm getting a lot of questions with this popping up in my mind right now of, well, what kind of abundance? What is this? Like, it's almost like you want to know specifically. Allow yourself to be gifted. Allow yourself to, allow your guides to shower you with love, and let the blessings come. Acknowledge the blessings when you see them, no matter how small. They are guiding you. Like, you'll see signs. For some of you, it's feathers. I'm seeing white feathers or like angel feathers, but there's also an angel feather on one of these cards in this deck, which is the card of signs and synchronicity. So look out for those, because those are how your guides are guiding you. I typically find that even as a medium, I typically hear a lot of spirits clairaudiently, and there's a lot of confusion for me as to, am I hearing a random spirit or am I hearing my guides? Now, when I'm in this space with you, I know that I'm channeling, like, the intent is to channel for the highest good, but when I'm in passing, doing my own thing, and I'm washing my dishes and I'm hearing somebody talk about something, I'm like, okay, like, that's probably, like, just some random energy passing by or something else, Could be a reflection or manifestation of my own energy as well, or energy that I'm carrying with me. And to truly follow yourself, your guides speak through you. So I do sense a little bit of confusion, or a little bit of energy. I don't know if that makes sense. Of like not really knowing where to look, or like when you see a sign, it's almost like it's a sign, but then you start questioning it and you're like, but I don't know if that's actually a thing, and then you got to look it up. You don't have to look it up because everyone's going to read their signs differently. If you felt it was a sign the first time it popped up and you felt it in your heart, if you felt it even subtly in your heart, acknowledge it as truth, take that as truth, and move on. Is it something that uplifts you with love? Yes, then that is a sign. If it's something that strikes fear into your heart, then it's not a sign. That wasn't from your guides. So take the things that speak to your soul from a loving way, and that's going to help strengthen your intuition so that you can notice more signs from your guides. Does that make sense? Anyway, Aquarius, that is all I have for you today. Thank you to you, your angel guides and your spirit team, and my angel guides and spirit team for allowing me to connect with you at this time and for helping me channel this message. I love what I do. I love the feeling it gives me. And I feel so blessed to be able to sit here in this space with you. So if this resonated with you in any way, go ahead and like it, subscribe, comment, all of the things. So that way I know that you want more of this stuff and that you support me as a creator. And so that you don't miss content from me, and also so you can keep up to date with this Patreon that is taking way too long to launch, but I am getting there. I promise it's launching very soon. And yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add. So I love you, I love you, I love you, Aquarius. I will see you next time.